What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Custom. I'm Carl Fisher, and today we are back on the Lincoln Zephyr project. We have more panels to make, more things to show you guys, and really excited to keep going on this project. In the last video, we got the top panel done and a couple pieces on the catwalk. In this video, we're going to be making this center, a little bit of a, I guess a crease you would call it. We're gonna use the hammer jammer, the profiling machine that we designed. It's a really simple tool to get that in there, as well as trying to solidify a lot of the other pieces on here so that we can start welding things in. So don't forget to like, click, subscribe, hit notifications. Let's get into it. To get started today, I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of rough out this center piece, this crease that's in here. I made a couple of dies on the Wazer water jet machine this morning, and I've got them already into our profiler. So what that is it's just a peak, right? So what I'm gonna actually do, I think, is I'm gonna just cut a strip, like a 4-inch long strip, and I'll just put a break in it. But the problem with a break, like I've got the break that we could use for it, but it's not sharp enough. It's not gonna get that sharp crease that I'm looking for. You can see in the trunk lid, it's got this nice sharp crease. It's kind of like a highlight thing that Zephyrs have. You know, not a lot of other cars have that. So it's very distinct, and I wanna make sure that we nail it. So I want to crisp up that piece with the profiling machine. We're gonna use our new little fence here, and basically I'm just gonna create like a 4-inch wide piece. And yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. Come with me. Let's cut a chunk. We'll cut a 4-inch wide strip, and we'll just give it a little bit of a crease right in the middle of it. All right, so I'll throw it in the break here. Yeah. Almost nothing. But you see what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like it's a crease, but not a crease. It's like not really enough. Yeah. See, I kind of made sure that the die was contacting the most right in the center. And it gave us our crease, that's for sure. It's much crispier. You see that? The other thing I want to do is I want to kind of like curve it up here, which I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be able to do that, or if I can just kind of like do that in here a little bit. Could I actually mess with that? So what we could do is we could probably put our dies into this. We've got a radius, or not a radius, a linear stretch die that we're coming out with for the planishing hammers. So this is the linear stretch die right here. Have a look at it. It locks in with a pin into our lower tool holder, and that way we can do like a nice linear stretch on a flange. See how we're getting that nice kind of curve in there? It's starting to look pretty good. You know what we might need to do? So we might need to barely shrink the edges here to get This, like, it doesn't look like it has a whole lot of convexness to that peak, but it has a little bit. So I'm gonna go to the kicker, right there. We'll just shrink it a little bit. It's not much, that's for sure. We definitely don't want to do too much. I do need this to go right to the end here, so I'm just gonna actually cut a tiny bit off of here to get around our cleco. Or I'll just take the cleco. No, I don't want to take the cleco off. I could trim a little bit. I do want this peak to come right up to the middle of that back window though. So I think that I'm gonna stretch it a little bit more and allow it to basically finish here. Yeah, finish right about there. So I do need to do a little bit more stretching linearly. I do really like that though, if you look here and like see how curved that is and then how shallow that is. I think it looks cool. At the same time though, you kind of want this to swoop into that. Yeah, it might need a little bit here for sure. Could give it a little bit more. It does seem kind of flat. Just a little bit. A few more kicks. And we flattened it out too, right? Yeah, there we go. Keep in mind, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know what I want. And I would like this to swoop a little bit. So if perhaps I stretch a little bit, if I add some surface area here without, well, it was like I first said, we either stretch everything down and then shrink this to come back up, or you stretch just the center without touching the outside, and then it should create that same kind of idea. Okay, we're gonna smooth it out and then we'll have a look to see if we got what we want. Okay, you see how it's kind of what I was talking about? We're swooping up to that now. It's almost back down to flat here. This form that we're seeing on the side, we don't know exactly if that's where we want it, but we'll go check it and see what we got. Oh yeah, looks great. That just means we gotta play with our form a little bit. We gotta flatten it out a little bit. Okay, we still need to bring this down. So what we might want to do is we might want to actually shrink some of this. It looks like we stretched and we maybe stretched a little too far back, because this panel, as I read it, is kind of flat until about there. But I see we've put stretch marks in it all the way to here. So these are going to need to be shrunk a little bit to bring this down. So we're just going to shrink that a little bit. As I've said it before, even when applied to this, there's always more shrinking on the edge than there is on the way in. So if I do 3 kicks in here, it's like 8 kicks out here, to keep everything moving at the same pace, you know? Does that make sense? Okay, we've successfully flattened a bunch of that out. This whole area was kicking us up. Let's go see how it is. Now we're talking, we're getting closer. This is getting that little ridge that I was looking for. So we've kind of like roughed that out to a point where I'm starting to like it. And again, I maybe went too far on the shrink, because now it's popped this up. So we might have to stretch this a little bit back out, just to allow this to come back up a little. Yeah, okay. A little push-pull. Let's stretch that a little bit. See what we did with just that. You know, the idea is for everything to sit nice, right? Like, you don't want to have to push on it hard to see if it fits, right? You want everything to kind of flow. I can't really see on your side. Is there a gap right here?
Yeah.
That's gapped right now? Yeah. I would say that the next step is, I'm probably gonna trim a little bit of this away. We'll trim a bit of that where the back window is. Number one, it makes it easier for us to work on. We'll be able to bend those areas easier, because we're not going to fight this material that's going to get cut off anyway. We won't have to shape that material. Whenever I'm cutting with shears, I'll always try and take it in like a couple of bites. And the reason I always try and take it in a couple of bites is because that piece has a lot of strength. And if it's strong, it will fight the other side that you're keeping, and something will kind of stretch. But if you can cut it down till you only have a little bit, then this piece that I'm cutting off is kind of weaker, and that's the piece that will coil away, and it won't actually bend the piece that you're trying to keep. See how that's coiling away here, and this piece is not bending? Just a tip. Tell me to shut up if I'm just, you know, a broken record over here. The other thing I want to say is, like, don't be afraid to make your own tools and your own dollies and stuff. Like, if you're trying to buy every dolly you know, for all these specific little things, like you can just make them. They don't have to be hardened. You know, I've said it before, but I'm broken record, I'll say it again because it really made a difference in my life when I figured that out, is that like, you don't need special dollies to do things. You can literally grind a shape out of a chunk of steel and that's gonna be fine. Like the only time you actually need hardened stuff is if you're, you know, using a power hammer full time. Like you can even have non-hardened dollies on a, or like anvils on a power hammer, like shrinking dies and whatever. It's really just for like longevity and like perfect surface finish, like coach builder, like $200,000, $500,000 body stuff that needs that. So you can totally just like make your own dollies. And like you see the weird shape stuff I got there, half of that's just like chunks that got ground and they're made of just whatever. They're not special at all. So think about it. No excuses. You can just do stuff. Anyway, that's getting closer. My side's kind of getting closer. I guess this needs a little bit of a... So I think right now we'll throw a couple clecos in it maybe. Maybe I'll throw a cleco, you know. This is still kind of kicked up, which means that we did shrink that a little bit too much. So what I might do is just stretch it just for a sec here. Just a light, put 4 in that side. See if that brought us down. I'm not super picky, but
yeah, I mean
it's pretty much there. It's really easy to get ahead of yourself. It's same with welding. Like when you start welding a piece in, you get it tacked and you're like, oh man, it looks nice, and you just want to keep welding. But the first thing you do is you tack it, and then you have to go and hammer your tacks and make sure that both panels are not misaligned at all, you know? Because if they were just barely misaligned, like you can't even see it, it's gonna make it more difficult in future steps. So if we start tacking stuff all in right now, because it looks pretty good, without starting from like reverting back a little bit and making sure that the trunk gutter's in the exact spot. And then, you know, make sure this back window is in the exact spot. You can see some things about this back window that it used to be on a skinnier part of the car. So it has more shape this way than the back window that would be on a coupe. So you see that this kind of lifts off in the corners. It's not because the roof skin needs to be tighter, it's because the back window needs to be relieved a little bit. There's all these like little fine-tuning things that if we can think about it consciously and identify them first, it will make our lives easier in the long run. So always like, I don't know, sometimes like I feel like I have an over-analytical mind. I've been told that by people. And true, yeah. But in the case of like automotive surgery, it's somewhat of a asset. So anyway, I'm gonna cleco this in so we can just stand back and look at it. And I know 2 videos ago I promised that we could like go and look at the car outside, but let's make sure that we do that this video, just before we start welding stuff in, because this is it, right? Like I have a couple of little reservations about the profile of the car. Like I feel like this is almost too flat. But at the same time, I feel like there's not a whole lot I can do about it. And a lot of the examples I find online is that they're, like it's got curve, but it's not a lot of curve. I just need to stand back and look at it. Like there's not enough room in this shop to really get an idea whether or not we've nailed it. So an extremely long answer, Elio. I'm gonna cleco this thing before I weld it. Yeah, I think we're good. We got enough clecos in it. Well, turn my mic on. Here's the thing. We had lunch. It was delicious, okay? And now I'm having a grapefruit sparkle. And we have a lot of work to do. There's just no real compromising. We can't really like let this one go. So it'll haunt me forever if we don't do what we're about to do. And it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I think it's the right thing to do. So that right here where it's kind of a little bit too abrupt and where, you know, this is a bit too flat, we are going to start off by dissecting what we've done all the way back to the skeleton. And basically, we're gonna take this trunk, and I think there's a little bit of give in the trunk, like where this, underneath the skin, there's an inner. The inner comes up and then has a lip where this folds over, right? And so if that lip has any room to move down without putting a crease in here, it'll help flow the trunk a little bit lower. It'll actually lower this down a little bit, which is kind of gonna help us. Because right now this thing's kind of pointing up to the sky too much. So if we can lower this down even 1/8 of an inch, it will allow this transition to be a little bit smoother. That's one thing. The other thing we're gonna do is pop the trunk off, make sure that this gets widened a bit. So we're gonna massage this lip out from the inner. That will help. So this lip down, this lip out, and then we're gonna take the skeleton here and we are gonna allow that to come up a little bit. Obviously not as much as I'm exaggerating with my hand, but we're gonna come up and then down and then up again. We're gonna give it a little bit more flow. Our target is to be a little bit closer to this bodyline profile with the top profile of that trunk. It's not bad, and it's not bad. And I don't know if anybody would really point it out, and I kind of don't care if anybody did or didn't point it out. Because I'm noticing it, I know I'm just gonna like lay awake at night and hate my life until I fix it. So that is the plan. So I think right now we're gonna roll it back inside. It's actually extremely hot right now because the sun is warm, which is cool. Warm, which is cool. That's weird. But yeah, we're gonna put it inside. We're gonna undo this stuff. We're gonna pop the trunk lid off. We're gonna massage the things I talked about. And then we are gonna reassemble it, starting with the trunk lid, and then the trunk gutter pieces, and then we will reshape that skeleton piece, and then we will take the panels that we made on the catwalk and reshape those to fit the skeleton piece in an effort to get more flow. So yeah, if I pinch here, it's touching, so there's not a lot we can do there. So if we want this trunk to do more of this, we might be able to push out a bit on it, but all of that shape is locked in here. So I don't think that that's gonna really work. Like if the inner was collapsed in the center here a little bit, it's possible we'd get a little bit more curve out of that. Again, I don't think there's a whole lot that we're gonna be able to get out of it. Perhaps we can take our like bead profiling hammer and just massage these beads a little bit, try to like get those to like maybe this bead, these beads. If we hammered those in, perhaps it would allow that trunk to do a little bit more for us. Well, I'm gonna tap this out first. I'm gonna measure what it is tip to tip and try and get another 3/8 of an inch out of it width-wise so that it lines up to our body line, and we'll go from there, I guess. And by the way, this is like, when you get aftermarket panels and they don't fit, it's because they did this stuff at the factory. When they were fitting body panels at the factory, they didn't just take a panel from the stamping machine and put it on the car and it consistently fit every single car. It's not how it worked. They used 2x4s and slammed doors and gap filled and like did all kinds of crazy stuff to make these cars line up. So it's only kind of natural and consistent that with aftermarket body panels, you're gonna have to do the same thing. Like, I get it, some aftermarket panels are not that great, but there are some panels that are really great that I see people like smash talking online, and it's because they don't expect that they have to fit them. You know, like when you wrap a skin over an inner, like when this inner skin, I'm not just talking about Zephyrs because it's not common, but like you go buy the inner door structure for a 69 Camaro, okay? And by the time you wrap a skin around that, you don't think that's gonna change? That's why, is because you have to align stuff. Like whoever built the body didn't build the skin and vice versa. Like they're all close, they're bumpable. That's why they call it metal bumping too. You know, like you got to bump stuff around and make it fit. So yeah, don't be so hard on those aftermarket panel guys, because you know, without them, you wouldn't be fixing your car.
True.
Okay, let's try another fitty fit. Ooh, this thing sounds so rusty, but it's like the cleanest lid ever. But it's just got that like stuff.
You're hitting it all up.
Yeah, true actually.
Oh, that's a good time.
Yeah, put your hands down. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right there. Yeah, I mean, my side fits way better.
Yeah, mine can come down another.
You know what's wild?
Like mine doesn't even fit, so that's.
Okay, here, let's show you guys this now, because this is crazy.
Yeah.
Here's Elio's side. We got, just let it sit. We've got 1/4 inch gap up here. Maybe not quite, maybe 3/16 gap. Tapering till the lead. The lead's a bit of a high point on this side now. That lead right there, that lead fill. Oh, I guess not. No, it's being held up. It's being held up by the other side. No, that's not holding it up. It's holding it up by this side. Look at this side.
Oh.
We are touching hard here. Totally hard there, and now I've got a gap. Massive gap. I've got over a 1/4 inch gap here from banging that out.
Oh my god.
So that does evidence that we are getting this thing to slope more. I can already tell by looking at this that that's sloping more. And you can bet that when I shave this down, I'm just gonna shave this. I'm gonna grind that edge down. I'll weld the skin back, but I'm gonna grind that edge down so that the trunk is allowed to drop more, and it's gonna be even better. So it's already looking better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark this side here. And yes, I'm actually just gonna cut that off, because what else can I do? I can't do much else. I'm just gonna cut that off and smooth this out and bring it down. Okay, let's give it another try. Oh yeah, look at all that mud. That might be all we can really get out of it, but we could try and get a little more later maybe. So I wonder if we do massage a little bit with the bead form tool or if we forget that idea. Like if you go eye level and try and line it up to the body line itself, it's still not quite there, right? But
Yeah.
like it just needs a lot more right here. Like this, whatever, 8 inches or 10 inches or a foot just needs to be more of a transition into what's happening there. So let's cut apart this stuff. I'm gonna take off these tacks. We're gonna undo these 2 bars from here. We're gonna slice right through there, and then we'll disconnect the trunk gutter itself. We'll make sure the trunk gutter fits the trunk perfect with a perfect gap, and maybe even tack that in place, because I know those Cleco holes are not gonna be right anymore. And then we'll curve these bars. Okay, a little bit of fitty fits and shrinky stretches. Since we lowered the trunk lid, we gotta reshape our corner pieces now. No doubt this has relaxed also, like this is kind of more of a curve than it is now. So it's actually quite a bit of change here. Okay, before I get too wild, I think what I gotta do is actually stretch this like back out a little bit to relax that. Basically when I'm trying to do that, I'm just like putting the flat spot on the dolly and I'm hitting on either side of that flat spot to try and just curve it a little bit. That's all it is. Actually, I can also see that we've deformed where we cut a little bit, that this is kind of going a little bit wonky. So while we're here, we'll try and flatten that out. These curved sections, they should be flowing also, so we can try and remove any flat spots. Stuff like this it's always easier to see and work when it's in your hand versus, you know, on the car. You might not even see that later. I think that's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. What I do notice though is that if I look here, that angle is not quite right. So we've got to tip this up a little bit. That could have been all it was. See if we got that to fit a little bit better. I'd say that's almost ready to weld in. Okay, I'll throw a tack on there and we'll kind of lock it in. Yeah. I'm looking like that's okay. Let's measure it just for the people. You know? Should we measure it? Do you want me to measure it?
No, it's okay.
We're at 193. 5 thou above 3/16. It's not bad. You know what we should also do before we get too far is tack this trunk lid back where it was. It's looking better, eh? Okay. I like it. I like it.
Are these base plate files on the Patreon?
Yeah, so like when you gap a car, you basically, you have a little gapping tool, and you know, usually they're plastic or whatever, and it doesn't matter what it's made of, but you weld the edge of your door seam. So like where the seam or where the outer skin wraps the inner skin, that edge, like where I was welding that we cut down, you add or subtract from that to make a perfect gap. And the first thing you do is you fit your doors perfect. And you fit your doors, you start at the like the back of the car forward, essentially. Okay, so you like have your quarter panels, they're where they're gonna be. There's nothing you can do about that. So then you fit your doors to the quarter panel. There's body lines that transfer from your doors to the quarter panel. And you go all the way. Or is it from the front forward? No, you go from the back forward.
Yeah.
Because like you can't move your quarter panels basically. So hopefully they're not too far off. But you don't care where the gaps are, you care where the immovable parts are of your body, right? So your body lines, where are those? In some cases you gotta move them a little bit, but you want your latches to be able to be adjusted really well. You want the line of your door to be able to be fit really well, like where the top of your door fits the top of your quarter panel. Like you have to consider all those things. And the last thing you're considering is the gap, because you want everything else to fit right. And then you gap the car, right? So it could, like a lot of the times, you know, cars don't get gapped and then they get built and then people are trying to fit so that the gaps look nice because that's what people see, right? Oh, whoa, this gap's way off. So people will gap a car by just fitting the panels that they have, and maybe they are doing a restoration, they bought a door from a different car, and the dude that fit that door to that quarter panel at the factory was a different dude than fit your door to your quarter panel, and now you have Frank's door and not Bob's, and Bob gapped your car at the factory. So like, when you're doing a restoration, it's important to fully assemble the entire car. Like even to the point of like weather strip and everything, if you really want to get down to it, you know, before paint. And trim and everything, like those all matter. Because right at the end, you're fiddling around with perfect paint and trim that hasn't been on the car yet. It's not good. It's not a good scene. Like separates the men from the boys kind of thing when it comes to like restoration. So gapping a car, if you're trying to make a really, really, really nice car, and if you're spending a ton of money on the car, I don't care if you're in your garage or not, like you might as well go that extra step. You just invested so much time and money in your car. So yeah, gapping can be important. Well, let's get these other bars on and we'll really hopefully nail it down. The next two pieces I think that we got to do are this one and that one. And then once we can say that like this flows into that, then we can match these two up to the same. And then hopefully just adjust, like power hammer the panels a little bit so that they do what they're supposed to do. But trunk gutter looks good. or trunk lip. I suppose it's not quite the gutter yet. This is the one for this side here. Oh, dude, look at how much difference that is. Oh no, I guess that did lap under before. But even just like where, oh no, that butted directly up to that one. So like this gap got a little bit bigger, but it also like, that trunk came so much further forward. Probably like this much. I'll line that up to there and then check the front. Like full 1/4 inch, more, maybe more than 1/4 inch. So that trunk must have come forward like 1/8 of an inch by dropping.
Yeah.
Oh, that's starting to feel better. Like when I dropped it on, it felt like it snapped a bit. It's weird how much more you can feel when, like, versus your hand. Cornfield, thank you. I forget what he calls it. He calls it like a tactile sensation towel or something. He just uses a paper towel and like feels it.
It's a tactile amplifier, like, yeah.
You can buy these on the website, they're $10. So I might hammer just a little bit in that area and then we'll probably call this panel 100% good enough. I think this too, like, got a little bit more form into it than that side. Like I was saying before, I think that I went further with the English wheel. This looks good now, like that's touching and sitting flat. That all looks cherry until right here. And it just looks like that needs to just be kind of pinched down a little bit. So we're gonna need to get it to do that. So what we can do is a little bit of shrinky shrinks right there. We have to actually go deep shrink that actually. Gotta be careful not to go too crazy with it, because if we shrink it one way or the other, it could literally make the line wrong. Like it could actually make the line start to turn. Oh.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
So much better. Mission accomplished. It took a minute, but we did it. And I'm happy we did all that. So right on. I want to thank every one of you for watching Make It Custom. I'm going to end the video here. We did take a couple back steps, but I think they were, like, if that's forward, they were like this. I wish I could moonwalk. That would have been sick. But anyway, happy with the progress. Hope you guys are too. Hope you're enjoying the Zephyr content. And we will be back at this in the next video once again. We're just going to keep plugging away on this car and see how far we can get. And yeah, if you guys are interested in the profiling tool, or if you're interested in the chop class, those are both on japhandskustoms.com. And we'll see you later, everybody. Thanks a lot.